Okay. In cloud, we are recording, sir. Shall we start, sir?
YouTube is not connected then, sir.
Sir, Jarad, sir, your two voice is coming, sir, I think.
Oh, I switched off.
Members are requested to mute yourself.
Okay.
We are going to start the session.
Abhishek, is it okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, okay, sir. So, shall we start, sir?
Abhishek.
Yes,
Abhishek.
sir. Yes, sir.
Shankaran sir will not join today. He is having another meeting.
Oh,
What
okay.
else? Ramesh is there? Ramesh, sir?
Ramesh.
Ramesh, sir? Ramesh, sir? Jyoti, sir?
Yes, I am here. I am here. Jyoti sir is
Yeah,
here.
Jyoti sir is here.
I am ready. We'll start.
Sir, actually, our GM Shankaran sir could not join today.
Okay.
Can you take over, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm already in introduction of chief guest. Don't worry.
Then welcome address with itself I will put, sir. It is okay, sir.
Yes. Yes.
Just 2 minutes, sir. Give me 2 minutes.
ஏழு பத்தாவது
Please, ma.
Okay, so shall we start, sir?
Yes, please.
Members are requested to mute yourself. Please mute yourself. Okay. So, good evening, guests and participants. I, Abhishek Arya, on behalf of IITVLC, welcomes you all to IITVLC Technical Lecture Series webinar. Thiruvallur Local Center is organizing technical lecture in a regular manner. IITVLC Technical Lecture Series started from 19th of September 2017. 23 technical lecture conducted till date, and today we are here for 24th technical lecture titled as Electric Vehicle and its Prospects. With these words, now I would like to request Dr. N.M. Jyoti Swarupan sir, Joint Secretary IITVLC, to deliver the welcome address with introduction of Chief Guest. Welcome, sir.
Pleasant good evening and welcome you all for this, the lecture, technical lecture, organized by Thiruvallur Local Center, Institute of Engineers, India. On behalf of our chairman, Jare sir, and Honorary Secretary Ramesh, and all the members, first of all, I welcome the guest of honor today, Engineer Mithun Kumar, MJ, Project and Planning Engineer, the PMC and EPC project. We are conducting number of lectures motivated by our Honorable Chairman Jare sir every month, right, for the benefit of the people, the engineer, the students, and with the different topics. The today topic, right, is relevant to technology or research, electrical vehicle and the prospect. It's an honor to our privilege to introduce the guest of honor today, Engineer Mithun Kumar MJ. Mr. Mithun Kumar MJ did his BE in PSC College of Technology and BE in Panimalar Engineering College and ME Energy Engineering PSC College Technology. With 4 years of experience in project management, planning, execution, and workforce management of construction and maintenance activities of high-speed pipe conveyors and equipments to handle high-grade coal in CGPL belong to Tata or Mudra. Again, floating models of offshore rig platform belongs to ONGC by L&D Hydrocarbon, Premji unit, NHT CCR unit, and HU in HPL of Vizag Refinery. He also owners of years of experience of consultants in automobile supply chain management as a planning engineer and investor relations. He is passionate about research in reducing the carbon footprints and is involved to the environment with various activities in industrial construction and its day by day operation by adopting various methodology in the planning activities. He also achieved awards of National Conference paper on the topic of hydrogen enriched combustion system in coal-based boilers, was recognized in the Singapore Autonomous Underwater Vehicle Challenge, especially for its design and operational reliability by National Technical University Singapore. He also, equally passionate in serving the society by uplifting the younger generation through engineering field by teaching and guiding of the project activities and their job interviews, creating the awareness regarding health, safety, environment to the colleagues and the workmen in the various construction sites. He also participated in the energy audits activities conducted by PSC Hospital, solar power plant, dal mills, and solar thermal collector. Presently, he got an invitation offer from Georgia College, affiliated to the Canadian Bureau of International Education, Canada, as a students to upgrade the skills of project management professional to lead the Turkey project globally, which is a stepping stone to pursue his engineering doctorate research work. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to welcome once again a very good profile speaker, engineer Mithun Kumar, the project and the planning engineer, PMC and EPSC project. Welcome you, sir. I take this, Abhishek can start the section by introducing the guests as well as the special address from our beloved chairman, Jairan sir. Please, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. So now we would like to request Dr. G. Jayarajan, Chairman, IITVLC, to deliver the felicitation address. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Abhishek. Good evening to all. And today's chief guest, Mithun Kumar, and Honorary Secretary of IITVLC, Dr. L. Ramesh sir, and Joint Secretary, Jyoti Swarupan sir, and Gunaraja, Dr. K. Gurunathan, Dr. Hemadri Prasad Raju sir, and on my cloud, IITVLC committee members and beloved members, student chapter chairman secretary, students and corporate members, very good evening to one and all. At the outset, I wish to thank Dr. S. Sankaranarayanan, GM, as today he has to participate in this event. GM TEDA, he has participated in this event. Unfortunately, just now he had a urgent meeting with some other higher officials. He could not join us. Thank you, sir. Why this? Why we need such a kind of sessions in our pandemic period? We should know. Nearly 20 million jobs, salaried jobs, were devastated, and there were million jobs were devastated and start in functioning. So it is the right time to give our perspective and the opportunities that are available in the pandemic period. In view of that, only we arranged it. Last time also we arranged a technical lecture on solar and the opportunities available in the solar field also. Like that, this is one of the highlight which will provide some job opportunities and business opportunities in future for our members and corporate members. As well as it's while seeing the profile of our today's chief guest, we are very proud to have such a nice guy in our today for the lecture. I welcome Mithun Kumar for his wonderful job done during his previous years. His social conscience is very appreciable, and we should also contribute to the environment by reducing carbon footprint. With these few words, I thank all the committee members, especially Abhishek, for having wonderfully conducting this meeting. And I thank Dr. Balamurugan and Google and all my committee members, Rangarajan sir, Sindel Kumar, and all my members for a wonderful evening. Let us add the last. I apologize for starting the meeting for 9 minutes. Sorry for the late. We'll all listen to the speakers now. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So now I would like to request for our session, Engineer Mithun Kumar MJ, Project and Planning Engineer, PMC and EPC projects, to enlighten the audience with his wordy words. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Abhishek.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, gentlemen. This is Mithun Kumar MJ from Chennai. I like to thank all the dignitaries to give me such a wonderful opportunity.
Mithun, sorry, Mithun, your video is not coming.
Just a minute, sir. I'll start my video. So, can you able to see me?
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Once again, I'm thanking you all the dignitaries to give me such a wonderful opportunity to present myself on this special occasion regarding the topic of electric vehicles and its prospects.
Members are requested to mute yourself 1 minute. Okay.
Please proceed. Please proceed, Mithun.
Sir, I'm proceeding this. Actually, my mic was muted. Sir, Abhishek, I can't able to share my screen. What's happened?
Abhishek,
Abhishek, your mic was muted.
Sir, please click on sharing of screen, sir. Down.
No, I can't able to share.
Green color.
Yeah, I just clicked, but it's not sharing.
You just click on.
Actually, Abhishek, you have to enable the participant screen sharing because you had made the host disabled the participant screen sharing. So you please enable that.
I have to change the setting, sir.
Yeah, just change it. You change it.
1 minute, sir.
You have to give the approval for it.
1 minute, sir.
Sir, you have to change the host, sir, to the speaker.
Where it will be, sir?
At the bottom right side, you have 3 dots, no, sir?
Yeah.
Oh, not like that. You have to go to participants and you go to speaker name. Then you can right side more will be there.
Okay.
If you
1
click
minute,
there,
sir.
it will show you change host like that.
Okay, 1 minute, sir.
There you can change.
Yeah.
Participant list and go to the speaker name, Mr.
Okay.
Mithun Kumar, and there more will be there. You click on that, then there will be options. Host
Okay.
you can. Then,
So
change host.
I can make you as host, sir.
Make host, yes.
Okay, sir. 1 minute.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you are the host, sir.
Thank you, Abhishek.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Remadri, sir.
Yeah, welcome. I used to do online classes, so I learned that.
Great, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, yes, sir. Welcome.
Okay.
Okay, it's okay, Mithun. Please proceed.
Okay, sir. Okay, friends, before we get into the topic, I would like to say one thing. If you see the past years, what happened in the actually what happens in the world is actually people what we are inventing or discovering anything for the mankind for the better living of the human that also owns some adverse effect on it. As like we see, to gain the electricity, we are deploying many thermal power plants in and around the world and various locations by consuming the fossil fuels. But at the meantime, we are giving the uh, carbon footprints, which owns an adverse effects over the human and also on the other living beings in the world. As like if we say the automobile sector, for the past 100 years, the automobile sector was grown enormously because we are enjoyed with the car, bike, vehicle, everything for the transportation, for the freight management, everything. At the meantime, we are leaving the enormous amount of carbon footprints, which creates a huge impact on our environment that we realized recently only, not before the 100 years. At the time of starting use of the crude oil based products, we enjoyed it. But right now we are facing some issues. So to rectify that issues, at the meantime, we can't able to sacrifice our benefits from these automobiles. So to rectify that, the electrical vehicles was introduced. Now, I don't think the electrical vehicles was introduced recently. It was introduced at the time of 18th century itself. But the only thing, the electrical vehicles, there is no special battery systems for it to for the propulsion or for the long range propulsion and all. Recent years only we own better technology for the power saving and battery, so that electrical vehicles are booming in the market right now. And also our government is making some huge efforts to bring the electrical vehicles as a modern technology to avoid the fossil fuel combustions. If we get into the topic, we see electric vehicles. In this electric vehicles, everyone knows that the electrical vehicle is quite costlier. It is not feasible for a lower middle class person, where 96% of the Indians are middle class persons, less than the middle class persons. But that is possible. Let me see about it. How the electrical vehicles function. Before let's get into that economical side, let me see some little bit topics about the electrical vehicle and its functionalities. You see, in the electrical vehicles, there is no tailpipe emissions, so that there is no direct pollution from the electric vehicle. We can tell there is a zero pollution vehicle. So it is supposed a green environment compared to the gasoline based vehicles. And also, if you take the gasoline based vehicles, it's purely dependent on the crude oil. Maximum 90% of the fuel is from the crude oil only. Crude oil products, petrol, diesel, light diesel oil, heavy diesel oil, natural gas, shale gas, everything. But in this electrical vehicle, there is no only electricity is the source of energy for the operations and all. And the electricity, the source is coming from the utility company. Or what kind of utility company? In India, if we take the 82%, nearly 80% of the power we are obtaining is from fossil fuel combustion, not from the any renewable side and all. The renewable side was keep on developing only. And also you see the electrical vehicle mile range is only 100 plus or minus mile range. It's a very, very lesser range. But gasoline based vehicle is around 300 and plus mile range. And also the modern technology is like that was implemented in the Maruti car and all, it's giving enormous amount of mileage. So what the people will think, if I fuel the car for one time, I can travel around 600 to 700 kilometers without refueling it. But for the electrical vehicle, if we charge the vehicle for one time, I can travel only around 100 miles. Likewise, the people are thinking like that. And also you see, to take the time consumed to charge the vehicle is around 6 hours, 8 hours. But this can be reduced by some of the advanced technologies like fast charging and battery swapping, system management. Likewise, and also the additional supportive point. The two supportive point we want in the electrical vehicle is zero tailpipe emission, and the cost to travel per kilometer per mile is less than 2 cents. That means compared to the conventional IC engine vehicle, the 10 times the cost is reduced for the transportation. Yeah, that is possible in the electrical vehicle. And also the electrical vehicle, the efficiency is quite higher. What kind of efficiency it is? If we take for electrical vehicle, tank to wheel efficiency, whatever the automobile we take, tank to wheel efficiency. In electric vehicle, it is around 90%. Tank to wheel efficiency, it is around 90%. For the automobile, it is around only less than 20%. How it is happens? Let me see. If we see the energy efficient vehicles, the energy efficiency for the IC engine vehicle is around less than 21%, 17 to 21%. But for the electric vehicle, it's around 90 to 95%. How it is possible? What are the magic that lies behind it? Because in the IC engine, there are n number of moving parts. From the starting to the petrol, from starting the petrol tank, and from the pump to the combustion chamber, there are a number of mechanisms that lies behind it to operate that particular vehicle. So, and also in the IC engines, the energy conversion happens. Energy conversion, how it happens from the chemical energy to the thermal energy to the mechanical energy. Then the mechanical energy is transferred from the crankshaft to the gearbox to the clutch plate, then after to the propulsion system. This is what really happening in the IC engine. So each and every energy conversion and each and every system which transfer its power to another system, there is a losses. So to minimize the losses, our scientists and every automobile persons are making some more efforts. But beyond certain limit, they can't able to minimize the losses. The minimizes losses means by means of introducing the superchargers, by introducing the hybrid vehicles, they are minimizing the losses. But it is not possible to attain across the 50% of the vehicle. But the only thing it happens, the cost of the vehicle was raised, which where the only high class people can able to afford it. But in the electric vehicle, it is not like that. The only thing is motor, electric motor, and the battery system. Only these two systems are there to drive the vehicle. And also we see in the electrical vehicle only 20 plus moving parts are there. But in IC engine there are 200 parts. So you can see how it happens. Yes, sir.
Sorry, your voice is not clear. Somebody is telling.
No, from my side it's very clear. So I am in a very silent room only. I think so somewhere it is.
I can also able to see here.
Okay.
Sir, some other voice is coming. Sir, 1 minute. Let me mute.
Voice is clear. Somebody is giving. Okay. Please proceed.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Please check the participants list, and there you will find the whether it's unmuted or mute. Then you can mute that. Unmute. You can mute it.
Okay, sir. Okay,
if somebody by mistake unmute, they are not muted, you can mute it, sir.
I will say, please note one.
Yes, sir.
List, you can see, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. And also in electric vehicle, there is a braking system. It is termed as a regenerative braking system. Actually, let me see how the conventional braking system works. In the IC engines, when we apply the brake, the mechanical power that we given on the pedal will be the power will be converted to the hydraulic power. Then the hydraulic power will delivers the mechanical power towards the brake shoe. That means the brake shoe will stop the rotating wheel by applying the friction over it, so that the energy that produced by the engine was abruptly stopped in the form of heat. While the friction happens, a huge amount of heat will be released from that portion. So in that way, we are stopping the vehicle. But in electrical vehicles, the regenerative braking system was implemented. How the regenerative braking system works? You see, when the vehicle was rotating in the idle speed, without giving any acceleration, at the time if you apply the brake means the motor will act as a generator, so that the rotation motion that produced from the moment of inertia of the vehicle will be generated as a power from the generator, that will be again given back to the battery as a electricity, so that the battery will store the energy into it, where we can use later on. This is the cyclic process happens. Whenever we give the accelerator, the power will be delivered from the battery to the wheel. Whenever we press the brake pedal, the energy will be reversed back to the battery, so that we are gaining some energy from it also. So this is the actual functioning of the electrical vehicle, so that we can know the difference between how the electrical vehicle and the IC engines are functioning. So what are the benefits that we are obtaining from this vehicle? How we are going to face that? How we are going to convince the people we should be switch over to the electric vehicle? Let me see. The benefits of EV. First of all, it is environment friendly. How it is environment friendly? It prevents air pollution, water pollution, noise pollution. If you take a Delhi case, the past 25 years, what happens means, whenever the rainfall happens, the sulfuric, it is a acid rain happening there. With the content of the sulfuric acid, that creates erosion over the Taj Mahal also. I think most of them have come across that news. So because of the Delhi, what they are thinking, it is highly polluted city, so we have to reduce the pollution. So they are making some preventions and all. So then the electric vehicle, the fuel cost is very less. As I said earlier, in IC engine, if we want to travel for a kilometer, we have to spend around minimum 12 rupees to 15 rupees. But in electric vehicle, for a kilometer, we can spend around 2 to 3 rupees only. And also the petrol fuel cost is keep on increasing because of the government policies also. And also an additional thing that supports our talk is zero toll charges. In India, wherever the places we are traveling in national highways or state highways, definitely we have to cross some toll plazas where we have to pay some amount for the toll plazas to cross the toll to travel for particular distance. If my calculation is right, in India, if you fuel the petrol, if you fuel the car with petrol or diesel for 1,000 rupees, definitely we have to pay 600 rupees to 500 rupees as a toll charges. 50% of the fuel cost will be again getting from us as a toll charges. This is what really happening because they are keeping on increasing the charges also. So for electric vehicles, there is no toll charges in India. And minimize and recycling of waste. The waste byproduct produced from the IC engine cannot be recycled. Yes, because it was emitted as a SOx, NOx, and carbon monoxide that we can't able to grab from the atmosphere, and we can't able to recycle. We can recycle, but that also requires huge cost. Actually, right, Gates Foundation running by the Bill Gates and Melinda Gates, they are invested some technology to retrieve that pollution from the air and to convert it as a fuel. And in this electrical vehicle, there is no such scenario is happening. So there is no emissions, there is no waste. Only the waste is when the battery life goes off. The disposal of battery is quite challenging, and also right now we can recycle that battery and we can produce a new battery with that also. And avoiding hazardous emission. As I said, that prevents air pollution, SOx, NOx, and carbon monoxide. We are avoiding hazardous emissions also. And EV supports a natural life cycle because without creating some technology that is evolving, without creating any pollution, without disturbing the environment, that definitely supports the life cycle. And lowering crude imports. In India, we own very less crude resources, and also we are facing many challenges, civil challenges to recover that crude, that methane and all, because so we are dependent for the crude sources from the other countries like Saudi Arabia. Saudi Aramco is the major supplier for us in the crude segment. And also to get the crude, we have to pay in dollars, US dollars. So the forex exchange, it is keeping on. We have to pump the money in 10,000 crores, 20,000 crores per lot. Likewise, you have to send it. So we have to get the crude oil for our requirements to fulfill that. This and all will be avoided in the electrical vehicles. The next thing, or the transportation in India. We see in India, the road transportation, it's around 57 lakh kilometer approximately, which it is keep on increasing at 10 to 15% each and every annum. And 85% of the total population is using the road. And 65% of the freight, that goods that we are sending from one place to another place, it is also happening in the road by means of a lorry, truck, trailer, and all. And also it is one of the largest road network. And if we take the rail network, we don't want to worry about this rail network because electrification concept was already implemented in the railway transport. Right now, nearly 75 to 80% of the rail network is around electrified. So we don't want to worry about it. And in air route, they are preparing for the alternate fuel to power the turbo propeller engines. They are preparing themselves for use a clean fuel like methane, natural gas, likewise and all. then we are going to concentrate on this road only. If you think in this, if this 85% of the total population is using the IC engine, what will happen? Definitely the pollution will be enormous. The pollution will be enormous that which we can't able to be controlled at all. So only our government is insisting us to switch over to the electrical vehicle because it is a less pollution cost thing, and also we can support the environment likewise. Okay, how we are fueling this? How the pollution can get controlled? Before that, we get into the thing. If the person travel from one point to another, if a person travel from one point to another point, which it is how much carbon dioxide is releasing to attain the travel distance. If you take in a train coach, if a person traveling in a train coach with the average bogie capacity for around 156 passengers is emitting 14 grams of carbon dioxide per kilometer. Because this is very less, because the train is maximum, it is operating in the electrical medium. So no worry about it. So in the car, if you take an IC engine based car or big car, the small car is around high mileage cars. You can take it as a Maruti group of cars, which gives a high mileage. And because the premium segment, Audi, Benz, Porsche, likewise. If you see that 42 grams of carbon dioxide is emitted from the small car and big car, SUVs and all, 52 grams of carbon dioxide emitted per kilometer by per person. And also we should consider this, only if the 4 person was traveling in the car, this emission is okay. If only one person, only driver alone is traveling in this car, we should multiply this 42 into by 4. This is what happening. And also we see, we people are nowadays, we stick in one habitat. If a person want to buy some groceries from the next street, he will never go by walk. He used to take the motorbike. Definitely will used to take the motorbike to go to the next street, which it is walkable distance also. Because we people are used to gain that habitat. See, so that we are emitting 72 grams of carbon dioxide per kilometer. This is what happening. So this much emissions that we are producing per kilometer, traveling per kilometer. So we just imagine that per day, how many people are traveling, how much kilometer in what mode of transportations. Then we see the crude oil resource, the petrol, diesel, the cost is keeping on raising. This is also an additional concern for us because this cost cannot be controlled. Government is also trying to control it, but it cannot be controlled because in India, the number one slot secured by the import product is crude oil only. Our entire nearly about 36 lakhs crore we are importing the energy. So how it happens? We can't able to reduce the cost also because the import duty will be high. Whenever the product, which product is importing from the foreign in a higher range, the import duty will be raised. That is what happened in this crude oil also. On electricity, in India, we can give the electricity to the consumers at the cost of 3 to 6. As I said earlier, with 1 unit of electricity, we can travel around 5.5 kilometer in electrical vehicle average rate. But in 1 liter of petrol, we can travel only around 16.4 kilometer. This is average, I'm telling. So we compare this. So this is a very cheaper mode of transportation, electricity. So by this strong point, we can convince the people to switch them to the electric vehicles. But another challenge is there for in India. It is the electricity source is 79% from coal only. 79% is from fossil fuels, coal, methane, likewise and all. Balance 21% is only from the renewable sources. That is also not in a stable rate. Why the renewable resources are not in stable rate means, if you take the solar, in India, we want the solar installed capacities around 40,000 megawatt capacity. But how the solar works, only from the morning 8 o'clock to evening 5 o'clock, the solar power can be obtained. At that to the 11 o'clock to 2:30, because at the time only the sun radiations will be quite higher, as like 800 to 1000 Weber per meter square, likewise we can tell. But after the time range, the sun radiations will be it was gradually lowered so that we can't able to obtain the full capacity from the solar. So the installed capacity is 40,000 megawatt, but the capacity we obtained, the units that we generated from the solar is around only 18,500 megawatt. This is what really happened. And in the wind resources, only 6 months we can gain the power from the wind energy. Likewise, these renewable sources are quite unstable. Only thing is nuclear. For the nuclear also, the support from the people side is very less, and we can't able to convince the people because of its hazardous nature. Then, as I said, 82% of the crude was imported. Okay, what the government had planned is we should reduce the crude import 62%. This is a challenging thing that they are proposed in their last discussions also regarding the crude imports. How they are going to do this? By introducing the electrical vehicles. By introducing electrical vehicles, they can minimize the crude imports, like this they are saying, and also the consideration that we should the point that considered to switch over to the electrical vehicle is huge pollution. Only thing this area we can able to attack. 87% of the pollution caused by the road, by the emitting the greenhouse gases. Okay, we see why the government is directly switching themselves from the IC engine to the electric vehicle. Why in between many cars are there? They can try for the advanced IC engines, mild hybrid IC engines, or fully hybrid or plug-in hybrid, but they are not concentrating on this segment. They are directly switching to the electric vehicle. Why? What is the reason behind it? If you see the advanced IC engines, the advanced gasoline is used. That means advanced gasoline. What is mean by that advanced gasoline? In the BS6 segment, the gasoline that we are using for the vehicle is less sulfur content, owns a very less sulfur content compared to the BS4. And also, if you see the biofuels we purely depend on the plantations. That is also quite impossible. And also CNG. In the CNG, is compressed natural gas. We can't able to fulfill our requirements, our national requirements by the CNG alone. And hydrogen vehicles are there. Hydrogen vehicles, they are promoting it. But the only challenging thing is the hydrogen, how we are going to handle the hydrogen, because handling the hydrogen is not an easiest task. If you own a hydrogen cylinder, that means we should imagine that we are own a hydrogen bomb with us. So that is also quite riskier. Then you start take care of the mild hybrid and full hybrid. Hybrid cars are there in the Indian market. If you take the Toyota Camry car, it is a hybrid car, but the cost is around more than 20 lakhs, where the middle class persons can't able to afford that car. So naturally they'll go for the cheapest IC engine car, which is Alto or Quid, less than 203 lakhs, or Nano also we can consider it 1.5 lakhs. So that cost also plays a major role in convincing the people. Then this plug-in hybrid car, this is also cost is quite higher because it consists of both IC systems and also drive systems to drive this vehicle. So the cost of this vehicle is also comparatively higher. So only what the government is saying, but directly concentrate on this electrical vehicle, and they are insisting the automobiles to reduce the cost of this electrical vehicle also. Whatever the way we can able to reduce the cost, we can do it. Please, likewise. The three factors that impacts the people to buy a product. Naturally it is happening, because what are the things? If you want to adapt to the electrical vehicle, how the market is supporting the electrical vehicle? Because Indian market is like this only. It is major population is less than the middle class family, lesser middle class peoples. Very few members are upper middle class or higher class. So how we are going to gain this market? By the cost consciousness only. Then policies. What are the policies that the government is favoring for the electrical car consumers and also the manufacturers? Whether the policy is in the favor for the manufacturers or not. These are the things. And environment. As we already discussed about the environment, what are the impacts that will be created to the environment? We can easily predict it out. Then market. First, before getting into the market, we see what are the existing models that are available in the market in India. In India, if you take this model, MG ZV is an electric vehicle. This costs around 20 lakh rupees. But they can travel only around 340 kilometers. Okay, and the charging time for the vehicle is 6 to 8 hours. On the Tata Nexon, this is 14 lakhs. And also 312 kilometer range and 8 hours. This is actually the range was given by Harai. And also you see the lower cost vehicle, Mahindra E Verito, it is 10 lakh rupees, but they can travel only up to 181 kilometers. If you take if in India, if a person is using the car, definitely will travel around 150 kilometers per day in modes of taxi or any in personal use also. Average traveling distance is around 150 kilometers per day. But how it is going to possible? If a person is invested at 10 lakh rupees in a car, he can't even able to cross a 200 kilometer of range. Whether he will consider this option? Definitely they will never ever consider this option, because the charging time is also very higher. You have to wait for hours and hours of times for to charge this vehicle to get a full charge. That is a drawback. So what the government had implemented some advanced thing and policies to support this, to rectify this problem. Let me see. This is a mid-segment car. This is a mid-segment car. If you go for the premium-based car, which they are going to launch in the market, it's a premium-based car. It is around 1 crore rupees and 18 lakh rupees. And Mahindra only quoted is 10 lakh rupees. This is a least costed car, but it takes 6 to 8 hours for charging it. And the source of power, how the government is going to give the electricity to these cars and how we are going to charge it. But what they are saying, actually installed capacity we own is 368.79 gigawatt. It is a total installed capacity of our Indian electrical EB department. From this 369 gigawatt only, we are gaining electricity for the domestic users. If we give the electricity to the cars, whether the demand will be, whether we can able to meet out the normal demand, this is a question from the experts. But what the electrical board had said, in India only 60% load factor is, average load factor is only 60%, but balance 40% it remains going in a waste way or an idle way likewise. So after the peak hours means what are the peak hours? When all the industries are running at the same time, from the morning 9 o'clock to evening 6 o'clock, the consumption is quite higher. Load factor is also quite higher. But we are going to charge electricity at night time only. So you can charge the electricity, you can charge the electric vehicle at night time. So it is it's a kind of off peak time. And also we see the policies and regulations. How the government is supporting the EV. This is just a case study about the Delhi government, what the Delhi state government is doing. In the Delhi state government, they are providing 1.5 lakh rupees for subsidy for the electric vehicle buyers. So they are supporting electrical vehicle buyers by giving the 1.5 lakh subsidy, and also no interest loan they are planning for the electrical car vehicle buyers in future. It is not implemented, but it is an under discussion only. And a progressive policy for setting up 100 charging station in Delhi within a year. Okay, how this charging station is going to function? Because if you are going to charge your electrical vehicle in a fast charging station, these charging stations are faster charging stations. If you are going to charge a vehicle, the cost will be lower at the night time, and at the daytime the cost will be quite higher. Because as I already said, the demand, they are managing the power demand. Night time the electricity demand will be quite reduced. So other time they are creating the demand by reducing the cost. And also the policies are framed in order to reduce the oil import bill and reducing the pollution. Because in Delhi, the pollution is the only main concern they have to consider it. And also the EESL is a kind of electric based company. They are going to a service provider for the charging stations. I signed a MOU with South Delhi Municipal Corporation to provide the infrastructure for the electrical vehicles, provide the fast charging stations, fast charging slots, or battery swapping management systems. Likewise, they are planning to set it out. So they are encouraging the people to switch over to the electric vehicles to avoid the IC engine based vehicles. And also already we know that in Delhi we can't able to use the vehicle of 15 years old, because a 15 years old vehicle is emitting the huge pollution which cannot be controlled because it crosses its lifetime. Likewise, they are set it up. And also in Tamil Nadu, what they are planned for electric vehicles, road tax exemption. They are giving the road tax exemption until December 2022. If you are buying the electrical vehicle, there is no road tax for us. and also there is no national highways toll plaza charges for us. So these are the supporting factors. We can, by these supporting factors, we can convince the people to buy the electric vehicle. And also the proposals for setting the charging station in national and state highways within 25-kilometer interval under the public-private partnership through state agencies like Tangetco. This is the power company, Tamil Nadu Generation. This is the Tamil Nadu Electricity Board company, where they are signed an MOU with them to create a public-private partnership. That means they are encouraging the people to give a startup business in the charging stations, so that we get a 25-kilometer range, 25-kilometer interval. Each and every 25-kilometer we'll get on some charging station, so that the people who are using the electric vehicles don't want to panic about their range and all. And the electric vehicle component manufacturers, we know in Chennai, in Tamil Nadu, we are the major contributor for the automobile sector industry by manufacturing the vehicles like Hyundai, Ford. So what the government is saying, if you people want to manufacture the component for the electric vehicle and who are ready to invest more than 50 crore and 50 job opportunities on this state, they are exempted from the state government service tax. So 9% of the tax will be elevated from them up to 2030 year, and 50% of the subsidy of their investment up to 2025. So these are the factors that supporting the investors and the companies who want to invest in the electrical component manufacturing side. And also to promote the southern districts. Southern district means the districts that below the Madurai, around Madurai, they are providing a 50% subsidy on the land to set up a manufacturing unit or any service providing like battery swapping and fast charging stations. So these policies, we can, by seeing these all policies, we can realize that how the government is supporting in these technologies, in this sector, to promote the electric vehicles. And also environment, we already discussed this environment. We in this electric vehicle is going to create an enormous impact, a positive impact towards the mankind by avoiding some pollutions. Okay, in what way? By zero tailpipe emissions, and also well to wheel efficiency. Actually, the term well to wheel efficiency, what is that? In the IC engine based vehicles, the fuel from the crude, in the crude oil exploration, there enormous amount of energy was spended. Yes, and the crude was transported from one portion to another portion. There are also some emissions. They are leaving some carbon footprints. If you just imagine, if you're taking some 1 lakh million metric tons of crude from Saudi Aramco to India, the tanker, the vessel that has to cross the sea for around 25 days to 30 days, it is also releasing some emissions for that. And the same crude is pumped into the strategic petroleum reserves. There are also some losses is there. So there is also some pollution based processes going on. From the reserves, the crude refinery is the highly pollution creating industry in India. Next to this takes place in number 1, and number 2 is the thermal power station. These two are high pollution creating industries. And also the pollution they create from the refinery is very dangerous. Sometimes the LPG gases will be leaked. Sometimes the sulfur oxides, nitrous oxides, sometimes carbon monoxide also happens. In my experience, I saw the carbon monoxide accident also in the Hindustan Petroleum HPCL refinery in Visakhapatnam. And also, while we are refueling the car with the fuel station, the fuel evaporation happens at the time of refueling and also transportation. Many automobile experts says that advises us not to park the car under the sunshade, because of the heat, the fuel tends to evaporate. There are also some losses there. These kind of losses are not available in the EV, electrical vehicle. And also, last thing, in IC engines, we have to give the vehicle for a periodic maintenance or servicing. So at the time, the engine oil was scrapped, and gear oil also was changed. The brake oil also want to change it. and air filter, brake shoes, like this, n number of what we have to keep on changing after a cycle of operations, so that that waste and all completely avoided in the electrical vehicles. So this much environmental benefits are there while we are opting us to the EVs. And also maintenance cost in EVs is very comparatively very low. Okay, when we are switching over to these EVs in India, these three major public sectors, ONGC, HPCL, BPCL, and IOCL, because they are the big shot in the crude oil industry in India. How they are going to switch themselves from that industries? If you see, the HPCL purely owns the two types of business. One is refining business, and second one is the retailing business. Retailing business by setting the petrol bunk. They are the major distributor. Once the EV was evolved in our nation, there will be no demand for the crude oil and all. We can see the crude oil market rate. It is around 2,750 rupees average per barrel as on today's rate. So they are if they are purely dependent on the crude oil, definitely they will be a loss-making business. HPCL and BPCL and all these public sectors and all. So what they are planned right now, also they are preparing themselves to produce the renewable source of energy. They are invested 19 crore rupees in 3 wind turbine generator, 3.75 megawatt recently, and wind power installed in Rajasthan 46.75 megawatt, and wind power 50.5 megawatt wind power, and HPCL biofuels. This is for purely CNG purpose. Methanation plant are for CNG purposes. What they are going to do with this? If you see, if any person want to start a retail business, HPCL, Hindustan Petroleum fuel retail business, definitely they want to invest some amount for the electrical charging station. This is the first condition given by the HPCL. Not only HPCL, all the petroleum product retailing business companies, they are giving the first condition. Definitely you have to set the charging station. So per day, how much quantity that we are spending we are selling the electricity for fast charging the vehicles, that electric current will be given to the grid by the HPCL in the renewable form. This is the target they have started. This is the way they are operating, so that the green energy will be given to the car. So the electricity given to the car is not from the source of the fossil fuels. Likewise, they are planning. So then what about the BPCL? BPCL also invested a huge amount of money in the solar energy. And also retail stores, they are going to solarize. For the solar, what is the problem is, there is no, the land cost is quite costlier. For the solar, the first investment is the land, where which space we are going to invest in we are going to deploy the solar panels to gain the solar energy. So what they are saying, the retail outlets, the shed that owns, they are going to deploy the solar panels over it, so that they can produce electricity also. So from there they can fast charge the electrical vehicles. And also wind energy, 11.8 megawatt. These are purely a green concepts. They are investing in the green concept to gain electricity for the fast charging. And before 2022, BPCL wants a plan to deploy 1,500 electrical charging station directly to the direct retail sales. And IOCL, they are also working on a green innovations to develop the solar thermal, solar hydrogen, solar photovoltaics. Likewise, they are doing some, they invested a huge amount in the R&D work for the solar hydrogen. Actually, what is the solar hydrogen? As we already heard about the solar, it's a hydrogen-based vehicles, hydrogen-powered vehicles. It is purely running on a fuel cell concepts. Okay, where we are going to source that hydrogen, because to produce the hydrogen, it also requires a huge electricity for the hydrolysis process and all. So by the solar, whenever we won't say any excess solar, other time we can use the solar power to produce hydrogen. You can save that fuel. That is their concept. Then battery life tester, because other two public sector are concentrating on the retail sales, but this IOCL is developing the battery technology for it to power the EVs, because the battery that we are using right now, lithium batteries that are quite, the lithium is imported from outside nations. As we heard about the news, the Tesla bought a lithium mine in Australia. So Tesla is also importing the lithium source from outside nation only. That is the problem. Then business opportunities. Okay, before we end the session, what are the business opportunities are there for the people in this EVs, electrical vehicles, and also with less investment? whether to setting up a charging station is a very high cost. No, it's not like that. If you want to set a charging station, the cost required will be very less. If you take, this is the investment that requires nearly about 30 lakhs. 30 lakhs is the capital that requires to set up a charging station. In this scenario, we are not going to purchase a land. We are going to lease a land for certain time frame of around 5 years, 10 years, likewise. And also, if any person who owns a land near to the highways or state highways, they can follow this model. See, what is the CCS charging model? Various types of charging models are there with the various output. See, this is a 50 kilowatt output. Actually, what is 50 kilowatt? They can able to charge a 50 kilowatt battery within an hour. This is a fast charging. If you take a bus which owns a battery capacity of around 60 kilowatt capacity, they can charge their bus with this fast charging in a less frame of time, not to wait for 15 hours, 16 hours and all. But the cost for this charging station is around 14 lakhs 50,000 only. And they can able to sell the maximum unit, 1000 units per day. They can sell 1000 units per day. And for the type 2 AC, 22 kilowatt. We can use this for a car and all. It's 440 units per day. And the Bharat DC, this we can use for 2-wheelers and all. And 300 units per day. Likewise, different charges, we can going to sell this much amount. This is the average amount we are taken that this much units we are going to sell it. So per day we are going to sell 3,240 units per day. This is the total number of products that we are selling from the charging station alone, direct product. Then operation expenses. This is the investment expenses. The operation expenses we take. The salary for the person is 1.5 lakh rupees for 6 months, and the site staff is around 1.8 lakh rupees for a year. And network fee. Definitely, a charging station requires a network to operate in a remote conditions and all. Because every time we can't able to go and sit there. And EVSE software. EVSE software is to maintain the it's like a ledger management. It's like a ledger management to maintain the power, everything and all. The EVSE will do it, and we can keep on communication with us. And the payment gateway fee, and the lease land rental. This is 6 lakh rupees. This is around 6 lakh rupees per year. I'm telling, and also advertising cost. So the operation expenses for the first year will be 9.72 lakhs. First year, and the second year will be reduced 8.22 lakhs. And see the revenue that we obtained from this particular charging station is around at the scenario A and scenario B. At the scenario A, we kept a very minimum margin of 2 rupees 50 paise. But one supporting factor to set up a charging station, government doesn't give any licensing and authority and all. This is a delicensed the charging station. Up to certain frame of time, the person wants to set a charging station, they don't want to get license and all. Only thing they have to inform the electricity board service provider, that's it, to get that high tension line. And also the margin, there is no capping for the margin. In this calculation, I have taken the 2 rupees 5 paise is enough for me to sell a unit. If you are going to buy a unit current for 6 rupees 50 paise, you can sell that current up to 20 rupees also. The government will never ask you anything. Why you are kept the higher cost and all. There is no capping and all. So these are the benefits for the charging station startups. So for the minimum 2 rupees 50 paise, we are getting the profit of around 17 lakhs 76,760 rupees at this scenario A. Okay, if you raise this to 5 lakhs, 5 rupees means multiply this cost into 2, 36 lakhs we can get. If you might 4 times means this also will spread 4 times. The minimum cost is taken to manage the competition. Okay, why we want to manage the competition in this? At the time of starting any business, the profit margin we can set up at a higher cost. But after a certain period of time, by seeing us, many persons will come by to get that cost and all. So the market share will be completely divided into it. So to manage that competition, we have to reduce the cost. So at the time we can sacrifice some portion of the margin up to 2.5 rupees. Below that we can't able to do it. Okay. So who are we are going to compete? Actually, the undiscussed plan from the Reliance Industries. Reliance Industries is going to set up a charging station, nearly about 4,000 charging stations in and around the nation. They are right now they are on the mode of securing their land in the Ramnath district and from the Madurai to Ramnath district. They are secured a huge amount of land to set up the charging station. Not only a charging station along with the shopping mall, restaurant and all. So the person traveling from one point to another point to the highways, definitely he needs some rest. So while taking the rest, he can charge the vehicle so that he can go for the refreshment also. At the time, they're targeting a per person. They have to shop from their retail outlets minimum of 500 rupees, and also they have to charge in their charging station. These are the factors they consider to set up the charging station. Then what Tata had planned? Tata had planned around 600 charging stations. They are planned each and every 60 kilometer. Tata charging station should be there within next 1 year time period. And the 3 public sectors I also detailed. So they are working on this figure only to set up a charging station. So for particular one charging station, we can earn this much amount of as a profit. For n number of charging station, this amount will be multiplied. And also this is a no interest loan also is available from the government to set up a charging station. So this is the model. I just worked on it. If anyone need, can take this for their future references also. And right now, question sessions. Okay, friends, my session is over. Right now, any doubts from your side, any discussion, you can start it now.
Sir, excuse me, sir. Can't we charge at home, sir?
Yeah, you can charge it at home, sir. But in home, the only 240 volt power capacity is there. So it takes around 6 to 8 hours to charge a 30 kilowatt capacity battery. That's a problem.
Okay, but during night 8 hours we can charge, na?
During night 8 hours you can charge. Actually, where is your location, sir? Where you are from, in Chennai or somewhere else?
Tirupati.
Tirupati. Okay. Whether if you want to travel from Tirupati to Chennai, you can cover with the Tata Nexon vehicle because it owns a range of 180 kilometer. But from after completing your work from Chennai to going back to Tirupati, where you will go? You want to go for a fast charging station only, no?
Hello, sir.
You can able to wait for 8 hours.
Yes.
So that is the thing.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, understood, sir.
Sir.
We can.
Charging is the major bottleneck in the actually electric vehicles.
Yes, sir.
It takes maximum. You told that 5 to 6 hours. Is there any research is going on to reduce this charging period so that it's very easily charging within a few minutes, or we can alternately we can use and throw like battery will come in the future?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There is no use and throw battery. You can rent the battery. Actually, I said the electrical vehicle is quite costlier. It is more than 10 lakh rupees, so no one can able to afford easily. So what government is working on it? You sell the vehicle without the battery. So without the battery, if you are buying the vehicle, means it costs only around 6 lakh rupees, 6 to 7 lakh rupees in that range only. After that, you take the battery as a rental services, but battery swapping. While you are traveling from Chennai, you take the battery as a rental services, and while you are going, when the battery get to drained out, you just give that battery and change the battery. So you pay the unit cost, 1 unit 25 rupees, 20 rupees, you just pay them. So you don't want to worry about charging and all.
Okay, sir. Okay. Any research is going on, sir, that introduced in battery?
Actually, research is going on, but it takes some more time. Because what is the problem that they are facing in the fast charging is, if you keep on charging your battery in a fast charger, the battery life will be blown out. It will go off. So the life expectancy of the battery will be very less. To avoid that only they are introducing the battery swapping ideas.
Okay, sir. Is there? Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Mithun.
Sir,
Yeah.
Good
evening, Mithun. This is Sundar.
Battery, for example.
Hello.
What is the lifespan, sir, of battery?
Actually, the life expectancy of the battery, we can compare with the warranty of the battery they given from the manufacturer, sir. Some companies are giving a 2 years warranty. Some are giving a 5 years warranty. But if you see the recent electric vehicles given by the Honda two-wheeler segment.
Okay.
Last year,
another thing, suppose if life period is only 5 years, Then there will be number of batteries will be wasted, no, sir, after 5 years.
Yes, sir. Exactly. That is another big conscious thing. What they are setting up the battery
Going to be
recycling
dissolved power is
technology.
going to be.
Sir?
Recycling technology has to come simultaneously, no?
No, it was already reached the market. If you come across the Tesla battery management thing, you can check it out. They are recycling the battery. This battery recycling technology is already introduced in the Apple also. Apple iPhone, we heard about Apple iPhone, no, sir? Apple iPhone batteries. They are recycling their batteries.
Yeah. Good evening, Mithun.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Really, it's a good effort. I can see your effort in data collection and put it in a PPT. It's good.
Yes, sir.
But I have
Yes,
one
sir.
small question. You said 90 to 95% you are getting energy. Whereas
Yes, sir.
from battery, then controller, then motor, gearbox, then coupled with other axles or drive, when battery thermal losses also will be there. Do you think only within all these losses are only 10% only? It will be more than that, na?
Actually, sir, in electric vehicle there is no gearbox, sir.
Okay.
In electrical there is no gearbox, there is no clutch mechanism.
Okay.
And also,
you are referring car only, I believe. What about other vehicle, buses, other things and all?
but and also I'm referring to car and heavy vehicles only, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me, sir? Sir?
Yeah, I can hear. Tell me, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm talking about the vehicles that travel on roads only, sir. There is no gearbox for them.
What about the thermal losses? So, due to the battery, is there any cooling system available in that batteries?
Yes, sir. There is a cooling system for a car and all. They are providing a fin-based cooling system, sir. Because battery tends to get heated while on charging and discharging only. Okay. While on discharging, the car is in motion. So at the time they can use the atmospheric air to cool the battery. And while on the charging time, there is an additional cooling provision is there. While you are parking the vehicle, there is under lowering the surface, there is some cooling provision is there that keep on blowing the cool air over the battery.
So that is air cooled. Air cooling only you are referring, not water-based cooled or some other thing.
No water-based coolant also. There is no water-based. Only air cool is there.
Okay, so only losses will be 5-10%. That's what you are telling.
Yes, sir. The losses will be 10% only, and also because of the regenerative braking, only the losses is 10%, sir. If the regenerative braking is not there, the efficiency of the EV will be around 65 to 70% only.
Hello, sir.
Batteries are mostly preferred.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello, you can once again you explain that how this regenerative braking system works in the electric vehicle, sir?
Sure. Actually, sir, we in this this motor can be act as both as a torque generator and in the vice versa also as a generator also. While you are giving electricity to this motor, it will generate torque. That torque will be given to the wheel based on the demand. Demand means in what speed you have to travel, you are going to press the pedal. So depend upon it, the electricity will be discharged to the motor and the motor will discharge the torque to the wheels. But while you are applying the brake, the pressure that given on the brake, whether you are going for a progressive braking or whether we are going for a sudden brake, because of the pressure that given on the pedal, the motor will create a electricity demand. This generator will create electricity demand. So this amount of power should be again produced from the generator and given back to the battery. So it requires some rotation motion. The rotation motion given by the these wheels will be taken as an input mechanical energy to the generator, and the current will be again regenerate and stored in the battery. This is what happening, sir.
Here you mentioned some transmission must be involved in that, no? Yeah, I can see something in the drawing.
Yes, sir.
Sir, how can it stop the vehicle? How can you stop the motor, sir? If you press the pedal,
Okay.
Brake, you apply the brake, how can it be, suddenly it will stop the motor, so it will, how can it work? So that
Actually,
concept
sir, actually in this one thing, when the motor will consume electricity when you are pressing the accelerator pedal. When you
okay,
take
okay.
the legs from the accelerator pedal, there will be no electricity.
Oh, okay, okay,
The
okay.
car will move on the moment of inertia that gained from the past energy. Okay.
Okay, 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 okay. Okay.
Sir, what
Okay,
type
sir.
of batteries are mostly preferred in EVs?
Is purely lithium based batteries, sir, because the lithium based battery is right now lithium based batteries are high power saving batteries, are high capacitance of the lithium saving battery is quite higher, because in previous days the liquid cell based battery and all, to charge 1 unit, to get a 1 unit of current, it requires around 10 kgs of battery, but in lithium it is around less than 2 kgs seems.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, how much is the minimum cost of a electric vehicle in India now available?
You can see the presentation, I think so, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm listening to you. You can see the presentation, sir. Right now, these 5 models are available in the market, sir.
Yes, sir.
Mahindra E-Verito is 10.4 lakhs. It's the cheapest vehicle.
Okay.
And also, maximum speed is around 86 kilometer and 11 hours to 12 hours charging.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Actually, this
Okay,
vehicle
sir.
is.
Thank you.
Okay, sir.
So this charging station, I mean, you have listed some 3-4 charges, Can we have only some part of the charges? Like, for example, I want to have only charging station for 2-wheeler or 3-wheeler. Can I set up only for that?
Exactly, sir. You can set up for that, sir. So that you can go for the Type 2 AC charger and the Bharat DC charger. In this Bharat DC and Bharat AC, you can use the power capacity that available in the domestic also low tension lines.
Okay.
From the home connection also you can use this.
You can use, okay. That's good. So one more question.
Yes,
Apart from regenerative braking, is there any other braking? Is there any emergency braking apart from regenerative braking?
No, sir, there is no emergency braking likewise and all. Because regenerative braking is quite efficient, sir. It's proven one. Have you heard about this metro station, metro train and all, Delhi metro train, Chennai metro train? They are using the regenerative brakings only.
Okay.
By using the regenerative braking, they can able to stop a vehicle. They can stay able to stop a train that a huge weight.
Sir, actually, regeneration braking only for control the train only, sir. Actually, I'm from railway. And mechanical braking is only for stop the train, sir. But generating
reduce the speed.
Braking only for control the train and for control the speed.
Yes, sir. In metro train, the brake shoes also is there. But the only thing to stop the train at idle conditions, I think so, to bring the speed to 0. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, sir. Any other questions, sir?
This swapping station, is it? I mean, is it not complicated? I mean, to change the battery and then how fast it can be done? The swapping.
Battery swapping can be done within 2 to 3 minutes, sir. That's it.
No,
it's like refueling your car.
Okay, that means
actually what we are suggesting now, sir, for the government side, what they are suggesting, if you have taken the vehicle for MG Hector, have you heard about this vehicle? 44 kilowatt capacity battery capacity. You purchase this car with a 10 kilowatt hour capacity. Okay, so if you want to travel for a long range, some slot will be there. You just purchase that battery, you just take the battery rental cost and just fix it out. That's it. So that you can cover a longer range. And also you can save the cost also. So that the cost, if you reduce the 30 kilowatt from the battery capacity, the cost will be around 12 lakh rupees to 13 lakh rupees. That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, sir?
Abhishek?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Please read the chat box more.
Okay, sir. Sir, actually, one question we have received in chat box that,
Yeah, okay.
Sir, is it possible? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm listening to you only. Please tell.
Okay. So, sir, it is possible to charge the vehicle with solar and wind energy both.
Yes, sir. It is possible, but only thing, how we are going to drag the power from there. If you are going to set up a wind turbine of around 1.5 megawatt capacity, or else you can go for the micro wind turbine also. You can charge the electrical vehicle, but some additional equipment should be used, like inverter or power management. Likewise, some electrical equipment should be used to convert the power for your mode of usages.
Okay, sir. And second question I will take, sir.
Okay.
That how much energy can be generated by applying brake in electric vehicle?
By applying the brake.
Yeah.
It differs based on the weight of the vehicle. If you see, if a vehicle weight is around 1 ton, okay, if the 1 ton weighted vehicle is traveling at the speed of 40 kilometer per hour, some energy will be there. That means that the rotation motion given to the wheel will be there. Okay, so that only can be able to retrieve. That you have to calculate it, the weight of the vehicle with the speed and the size of the wheel and the capacity of the motor to generate the power. We have to check it out.
Okay. And the third question I am taking is explain paddle in regeneration, braking, and acceleration.
Okay.
Yeah.
What pattern?
This question, sir. Shall I repeat, sir?
Please repeat it.
Okay. Explain paddle in regeneration, braking, and acceleration.
Same pedal.
Yeah. Explain paddles. Paddle. PEDL. Paddle. That was the question we received.
I can't able to get you what you are saying. The pedal means there is for braking. The only two pedals will be there. Say in car and A, B, C, accelerator, brake, and clutch. In this clutch will be not there. A is for accelerator pedal and B is for braking pedal. Same only.
Hello,
Okay,
sir.
Hello.
Hello.
Sir, okay, sir, and I do have a little question, sir. Actually, recently in a year, I have received the news about AB Motors has made a flashing technology combined with the contract with Ashok Leyland about their buses, some like in railway trains, like overhead equipments to get in electricity. So, is it really possible for us, sir, to make this work feasible?
Yeah, it is really possible. It's really possible
Because so it's just like building a tramways, like, sir.
It's not building like trams. I think so. You should come across this wireless charging technology. Have you heard about this wireless charging?
Lightly, sir. Slightly.
If you see in European countries, there is some research is going on. This under research level only. If you want to charge your electric car, you just drive the car on the particular line.
Okay, got that. Yes, in a particular line, the car have to move, and the car have to pay for the line when it travels.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
sir.
Yes.
Sir, and our second question is, so currently we don't have any lithium resources in our country, and still for electric vehicle battery manufacturing, we are still depending upon the import from Australia as well as China and other countries. So this increase a great
purely we have to depend on some countries only, because even Tesla is dependent from Australia.
Okay,
so Tesla had bought some mine.
Yes, yes, I heard about that, sir. Is that any other, is not any other alternate solutions for lithium ion batteries? As there are huge types of batteries available, but why everyone is focusing on lithium ion itself?
Actually, so lithium ion battery, you see, the battery capacity can be increased by reducing the weight.
Okay, sir.
If you go for other batteries and all, the battery charging and discharging will be efficiency is quite higher, but the weight, that contribution for particular unit of current is quite higher. But in lithium, it is very lesser. For the vehicle, the lesser amount, they have to reduce the curb weight. That's the reason.
Okay, sir. And what about the battery swapping? Say, is it really possible battery swapping? Because for battery swapping, an entire type of an entire set of infrastructure has to be set. Even for Bharat chargers, and we are facing huge difficulties even in installing Bharat chargers in city side. Will you still think, or what about your point on establishing the battery swapping places? Because it's not
possible. That is possible. So only what they are telling in India, if you are going to launch a battery swapping systems, they have to standardize the battery.
Yes. Okay, sir. Because suddenly, if I'm taking a car and I am buying a new car and I'm having a new car in battery, but when I go into battery swapping agents, I'm seeing that some old battery which is going to expire soon. So, will it really make it possible, or it is only possible for like what to say, some MTC buses or some specific places? What to say
No,
in China?
it is possible for everything. It is possible for even car also. Because if you're going to buy a car with a 40 kilowatt unit capacity, this costs around 20 lakh rupees. Whether it is affordable, it's not affordable. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Instead of that, you just buy a car at the half of the rate.
Okay.
So that you can, whenever you require to travel, at the time you just purchase the battery. You just get the battery for the rental alone.
Okay, that's right, sir.
So battery
Sir,
swapping
is it possible super capacitors as an alternative of batteries?
Super capacitors is still in a research mode only. No, it's not used for high power charging and all. Is there anything like that?
No, sir, but it gets.
Capacity. Sir, do you listen the concept of capacity by an IIT Madras sir who has been completed?
It's in research level only. No, it's not commercialized.
Okay.
If it is commercialized, it will be success.
Okay, so but if it comes, it will be great helpful for us to recharge the battery for as fast as we can.
Definitely, if it meets the parameters that suppose the EV and our people's requirement, definitely that will be success.
Okay, sir.
Otherwise, it will be in conceptual only.
Definitely, sir.
Hello, sir.
Sir, please tell.
We can use this hydraulic brakes also, sir, in electric vehicles. Is possible?
Sir, actually, the EV's first motto is to avoid the energy conversion, sir. If we go for the hydraulic brakes, means we have to convert the electrical energy into an actuator, from actuator to the hydraulic energy, and again the hydraulic energy will be converted to the mechanical energy, then heat energy. Okay. So this kind of conversion will cost battery more, sir.
Okay, sir.
And also, hydraulic brakes are totally going off from the outside, out of the market, and it is not much efficient right now.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions, sir?
Hello. Sir, I have another doubt, sir. Many cities in world has started to ban petrol and diesel vehicles and start to transform fully electric vehicles. Will it really possible to entirely transform full electric vehicles? It is really possible, and will it work?
Really possible. Definitely it's possible. Why it is not impossible? How you are saying?
Because maximum speed is very less when compared, and even when we take up some long journeys, means it is really hard, sir. For firefighting vehicles and all those vehicles must have a good speed. But is that that speed can easily achieve in electric vehicles? Because speed is one of the major issue, right? In such vehicles, speed is needed. So will it really possible, sir?
Possible. Right now, you see Audi, BMW, or Benz had launched a vehicle which it reach a maximum speed of around 250 km with the electric. They are giving the electrical vehicle for racing purpose.
Okay, sir.
How you are saying it is impossible?
Will the technology can be replaceable in this normal, because one Audi car costs some lakhs to some crores, but will this technology can be replaced in some hundreds of firefighting trucks and ambulances? Will it possible to make this technology cheaper?
Because we can make it. Whenever the technology that reaches in the market with a very less quantities, definitely it will be cost. It will be less. It will be quite costlier. Okay. But when the same technology used by multiple number of peoples, all the peoples, the technology cost will be reduced because of the mass production.
So when competition reaches the market, definitely we can face that less amount of price, right, sir?
Yeah, exactly. It's like a concept of launching a mobile phone in Indian market. At the time of launching the mobile phone in market, you can see only high-class people can own a mobile phone in their hand. Not even a small. Right now, you see, the market becomes saturated. Even a daily wages person can own an Android phone in their hand.
That's sir. Sir, and again, another thing is that today all the major e-vehicle manufacturers are turned their ideas to some automated driving system. Really, is there any deep connection with automated driving system with electric vehicle? Because whatever the industries that were even with value and all, they have been started to concentrate on automated driving system. But why suddenly all people are sudden to switch electric vehicles to an automated vehicle system? All their prototypes have started to display the same thing in the taglines or whatever in the ads what they try to say. Is there any deep connections with that both?
There is no particular connection is there before the electrical vehicle launches the market. Also, automobile drive system is there, because why the automatic drive system was implemented? It was actually a major accident was caused because of the human error. 80% of accident causes because of the human error only. In order to avoid that error only, they are implementing the automatic drive systems. So there is no particular correct connection between these two. But
Okay, sir.
Tesla launched the automatic drive system in an effective way.
Okay, sir.
And
Like
drive
that,
assist
Google
system.
and WeChat also not trying to follow, but they are facing some issues there, and they are
Google is
facing some
still under research mode only. They are not at launch commercialized. If you
Okay,
see,
sir.
you can drive assist system. It is only the steering wheel you have to control it. Rather than that, you can automatic only. Everything is automatic. If you take, for example, if you take the Benz E-Class car, if you want to dash the car to particular any compound or any divider, the car will never allow you. It will automatically, it will push your hand and it's automatically turn the steering to opposite side, away from the entrances. If you want to dash that car to some other person, it will brake automatically and stop it out. So these are some drive assist systems are there. Only steering is not automatically operated, rather than the special conditions are there.
And I too think that the movement of BS6 one of the best option to easy migrate for migration of electric vehicles, because the increase in cost of BS6 and a high maintenance will definitely push all people to electric vehicles sooner. Is that perfect, sir?
Exactly. Actually, in BS6, what they are done, BS6 they are reduced norms, and also from the refinery side they are reduced the sulfur dioxide emissions.
Yes.
The sulfur content of the fuel was reduced, and also the combustion efficiency also was improved in this BS6, and some other safety standards was improved. That only that thing is that there is no big cost differences. They'll raise the cost by raising the fuel prices. If you can see the fuel price how it is raising drastically.
Definitely, sir.
Everyone is thinking that the fuel prices is not affordable for the middle class family also.
Okay, sir.
In that way, they are discouraging the people to move away from this fossil fuel dependency.
Okay, sir.
Any other questions, sir?
Hello, sir.
Please tell, sir.
When you apply the brake, still the motor in active state, sir?
No. At the time, while you are operating the brake, you will take the leg from the accelerator pedal.
Okay.
At the time, the motor will be in dead state. While you are applying the brake, at the time the motor will be turned as a generator. Receive the rotation motion.
Okay.
Sir,
that rotation will be converted to what, sir?
Huh?
That rotation generator, how it helps in to stop the vehicle?
Because already rotation motion is available in the wheel. Okay, that wheel is connected to the motor. At the time, if a generator takes a rotation motion, definitely the braking load will be there. While it takes the current away from the generator to the battery, the braking load will act on the wheel. Automatically, the speed will be reduced.
Sir, thank you so much, and sorry to interrupt, sir. Actually, one more meeting is scheduled actually from 8:30. So we'll come for conclusion, sir.
Okay,
Jairaj,
sure.
sir.
Thank you all.
Sir, Jairajan, sir.
Yes, 1 minute.
Yes, sir.
Sir, this time we have seen so many new faces in the meeting, sir. Professor Dr. Hemadri sir, Dr. Kupusamy sir, and so many personalities have participated in this event. We are very much thankful to them, and hope we will have a continuous session with the speaker also. He is having so many ideas in his hand.
Sir. Thank you, sir.
So let us have a tie-up with the speaker. He has presented very well, sir. Hope we enjoyed very much. And the new I welcome all the new participants, and they cleared doubts. Thank you, sir. Abhishek, we will do one thing. We will collect the questions from participants. We'll get the answers from the speaker, and we'll send it to him.
Surely, sir. Surely. Okay, sir.
Or one more thing, sir. Mithun, sir, can you share your WhatsApp number and email ID?
Sure.
So that,
Definitely, sir.
Our participants can directly contact you and clarify the doubts.
Sure, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes. WhatsApp number, sir?
I'm just doing it, sir.
Okay, sir.
One participant, Mr. Nagamurga, request your PPT, sir. Please
Okay,
mail.
sure.
If you can share the mail to us, we'll also forward it, sir.
Sure, sir. Definitely, I'll share it to you.
Yes, Abhishek, please proceed.
Okay, sir. Okay. Okay, sir. So thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful session. And one notice for participants that we have sent already feedback form link in the chat box. You can just fill that feedback form link and get your participation certificate. Okay. So we'll move to the end of the session. Now I would like to request Engineer V. Rangarajan, Head Student Chapter, IITVLC, to deliver the vote of thanks. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Abhishek. It's a pleasure for me to deliver the vote of thanks. So, Honorable Chairman Dr. Jayarajan sir, IEA TVLC, respected Honorary Secretary Dr. L. Ramesh sir, IEA TVLC, our most valued participants, it's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. And a big thank to you, Mr. Engineer Mithun Kumar, for his efforts towards delivering a valuable webinar on electrical vehicles and its perspective. As we all know about the FAME 2, it is in the phase 2 2030. Our Indian government is willing to pull around 30% of EV vehicles by 2030. After 2030, there is no possibility of registering any vehicles from two-wheeler to cars to heavy vehicle, which is going to be running on gasoline, that is going to be either in petrol or diesel. So fortunately or unfortunately, we are going to be forced to the EV sector. So fortunately and unfortunately, we are going to be a part of green environment, right? So hope when we are changing to electrical vehicle, hope we are having 100% green energy penetration into the grid, so that we will be fulfilled in means of not emitting any COX or NOx gas into the atmosphere by means of driving a green vehicle and by means of utilizing a green power. And Engineer Mithun Kumar has pointed a lot of points towards EV sectors in India as of now. So many reforms has been taken by the central government and the state government by providing tax exemption, toll-free road for EV, and by more number of charging stations without deregulated manner. And hope when we are having a very good battery life and a very moderable cost for the vehicles, more number of people will be switching over to the EV when we are increasing the efficiency. And moreover, more technology is to be needed in upgrading in fast charging systems and battery swapping technologies that will be boosting the EV sector in India. Hope by 2030, each and everyone will be having an experience to drive an EV and be a greener engineer to provide a greener society for tomorrow's world. I also extend my thanks to our activity manager, Engineer Abhishek, and all the committee members of IEA TVLC and all the participants for this enormous cooperation organizing and this event. And once again, at the last, I thank Mr. Engineer Mithun Kumar for his valuable speech. And moreover, we need to notify one thing. He is very politely answering each and every question. That is the thing what IEA TVLC got today. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you,
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you all participants. Dr. Kupusamy, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so we came to the end of session. And
Yes, sir.
thank you all the participants once again.
Thank you, sir.
Sir Jayarajan, sir, shall we close?
Yes, shall we close?
Yes, yes, Abhishek. Thank you, Abhishek.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abhishek.
Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mithun.